to talk to you, the regular Joes.
To movies and toys and TV shows, comics and collecting and superheroes. There's no end to the useless stuff they know. But don't call them geeks, they're just regular Joes.
Welcome to the Regular Joe's podcast. I'm Dave Pisani.
I'm Barry Kay.
And I'm Todd Pleasant.
What's going on? We were away again. It's the summertime, people. We got stuff to do and people to see and places to go.
People are taking trips.
We're taking trips.
For business and pleasure.
Business and pleasure,
yes.
Yeah. Fortunately, and/or for. But anyway, we're not going to tell you where we're going so that you come and rob our houses. But
we only tell you
back.
after the fact.
We're back.
Yeah, we are back now. So
we're back now. So
you can try.
So you can try. Me, Smith and Wesson hope you try.
Right. No. Yeah. Yeah.
That's not true. We're gonna talk about the Acolyte because we haven't. It's been on.
It's
2 weeks.
2 weeks,
already.
and the three of us haven't talked about it
At all.
Exactly. We've all watched 3 episodes, right?
Yes. Todd.
Okay.
You watched 3 episodes,
Yes.
right? Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
So we're going to talk about that. We got some random. We got some other stuff. But let's go random. Todd, what do you got?
Okay. So, Marvel might make a Blade movie. They announced this movie in 2019. They did a post-credit teaser in the Eternals, and they just lost another director. So,
Well, nobody saw that post-credit scene, so it's okay.
no, I know that. Actually, though, a number of people did see that movie. They just didn't like it. But
Yeah. They didn't make it all the way through the credits.
This is, we're 5 years down the line, and nothing's been done with this. And
I grabbed their, and it's funny, I threw it in my notes in case it ever came up, and it came up today. I grabbed their official release schedule, because there's only one movie coming out in 2024.
Yeah.
They've got 4 movies scheduled for 2025, and Blade is the last one.
Yeah, well, that's not going to happen.
That's not going to happen.
No, doesn't sound like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
And when they say
Wesley
directors,
Snipes, formerly known as
s-
Blade, is like throwing shade at them. It's like
I heard that.
It's like, yeah.
The first Blade, I don't think is a bad movie. I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
I've actually never seen it.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't like the second one. The third one's a little... Jessica Biel, though, so you can't go wrong with that. And, what's his face? Deadpool's in it. Not Deadpool, Ryan Reynolds.
Oh, Ryan Reynolds?
But the first one I thought was
I don't know
good
that
movie.
I've ever seen the second one.
I think Guillermo directed the second one. It's a little... There are scenes that are a little creepy in it. But anyway, I didn't think it's so bad, so we'll see. Barry, what do you got?
Well, in the I don't think anybody really cares category,
I know exactly where you're going.
Zack Snyder's Rebel Moon director's cuts are coming out on August 2nd, both of them. And what I find amazing is he's renamed them. So Chapter 1 is now called Chalice of Blood, and Chapter 2 is called Curse of Forgiveness.
So
they're longer, so they need a different name?
12 people will watch them totally unaware that they've previously watched this film.
I am
And they're,
so
3 hours each?
I'm so torn because I almost want to see how different they are, but I know it's
We know you
committing
do.
6 hours to that.
Barry, he is at home right now toiling away on these director's cuts for you.
For me. Yeah.
The crazy thing is, who lets him do all this stuff? They'd let him do Justice League for what, 80... Oh, I just hit my mic, sorry. For $80 million. Netflix is letting him do this. I don't get it.
But why does he need to rename them just because he's making them longer? That's the part that I'm shocked by the most, is that are they trying to pretend they're not the same movies? Is that why they're doing the new names?
People let him do it. I don't get it. I really don't get it.
Yeah, I was shocked by that. Like, I knew we thought that they were coming sooner, so I kind of thought maybe they were never coming, but now they've officially announced the date, so.
And it's soonish.
Soonish. I mean, it's still almost month and a half away.
Well, it's not like next year.
Yeah.
It could be easily a year later. I don't know.
But I know that they changed the rollout plan, but I had originally remember reading they're going to release the first one, and then just before the second one came out, they were going to release the director's cut.
Yes, exactly. That's exactly.
And
what
now
they
held it back, and now it's almost like they're trying to create another stunt out of this with new names and probably new trailers and the whole thing. So
someone's paying him for this crap. I don't know.
Yeah,
don't get it.
I mean, if nothing else, they put a lot of money into it.
That they would they would milk this.
And that's his new deal. Anytime I make a movie, I need to make a ridiculously long
I need to make it
director's
3
cut.
times.
But he probably also gets paid a lot less money now as a director than he did 5 years ago.
I would think so.
Oh, everybody does.
So, are they going to make a third one? Have you heard anything?
No.
I haven't heard anything.
I can't imagine. I mean, this feels to me like they're just trying to squeak every penny out of it that they can. But making a whole third movie.
I mean, is the idea like it's like so many people?
But they made an investment
cuts that are like, oh, we just need more.
But they made an investment, Dave. They shot all of this footage, so letting him edit it together into a longer cut doesn't really cost any more. But to make another whole movie costs more.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense. Who knows? Anyway, in positive movie news, Project Hail Mary started filming.
Oh, that's awesome.
Oh, I hadn't heard that.
Yeah.
Nice.
Andy Weir posted it on, I think I follow him somewhere. He posted it on something. I was surprised because I had actually checked a month ago. I'm like, what's the status of Artemis? What's the status of this? And Ryan Gosling's the star.
How do you turn that into a movie?
Oh, I think it's going to be...
can't wait. The only thing that worries me, those Phil Lord and whoever those two guys, those are the guys behind it.
They're going to make this work.
I don't know about those guys.
This is going to be great.
Lord and Miller have had more hits than misses.
What hits, though?
First thing I thought of when I saw this as being made in a movie, I'm like...
The Lego movie.
Okay. No, sorry, Todd. Animation. They've had animation hits.
Yeah.
They haven't done much live action.
The Lego movie is pretty much a lot... I mean, it plays like a live-action movie, even though it's a lot of animation.
It's not when you're directing it on the thing.
Well, there is entire sequences of it with actual people in it too. So
really, I don't remember that. But anyway, I'm sorry, Tom. What are you saying?
No, I was saying as I was thinking about this being made a movie, I was thinking what a missed opportunity because this is the movie you could make during COVID. Because it's really mostly one guy alone. Talking to something that will be...
Talking to a rock.
Talking to something that will be CGI. I wasn't spoiling, Barry. I wasn't spoiling. Something that will be CGI. But obviously there's going to be a ton of flashbacks because they couldn't make this movie work without that. So,
you know what I would say to that, though?
I hope they do it right.
Like, I think if they made this movie 5 years ago, it would have 100% have been a CGI creature. They could potentially do this as a practical effect now. So many studios have gone back to doing... things like that.
That's tough.
It might be too ambitious. You're right, but
who directed? Oh, Ridley Scott directed. I'd like to see it in someone else's hands. I don't really know if I trust these guys. I'd like to see JJ do it. I mean, I'd like to see, the guy who did 2049.
I love JJ, but if JJ did it, there'd be too many lens flares in it.
Well, I think he's over that.
You think he's over it?
It was a phase.
Yeah.
It was a phase.
I watched my favorite Mission Impossible. It's been on. I watched it last night. There's even lens flares in that. I mean, that's his first movie. You know what else I watched? I watched part of Super 8, which is a solid movie.
Oh, that's a great movie.
He is a good director. He definitely tells a tight story. Anyway, I'm excited for this. I hope they don't screw it up.
We won't go too deep down the rabbit hole, but Force Awakens was a solid movie, too.
I think so too.
Yeah.
Let's stop there.
Yes.
That's a whole other show. I don't want to get Todd going.
So I'm not jumping on that. So I got to go back and rewatch Super 8 because I really like that film. And
it's good.
I rewatched it not that long ago. It holds up. Totally holds up.
It holds up because it is cube based somewhere. Somebody made the cube.
Yes, I have one too. I have one too.
I don't have one.
Yeah. Somebody made like a kind of ceramic looking.
Yeah, it was licensed.
Yeah,
cube.
I never got it.
It was something like that.
It might have been QMX. If not, it was a
QMX.
company like that. Yeah.
And it's interesting. You look at what? Shut up. And you look at. We'll talk about stuff later, but the performances he gets out of kids is just amazing.
That is, I have a hard time believing they would have made Stranger Things without that movie.
I can see that.
I think there's a lot of Stranger Things in that movie. I think a lot of it I think that was a lot of inspiration. I certainly would have used that as part
things like the Goonies and some of the animal movies for sure.
But that was way back. The question is whether you could make that work today and play it straighter. I think that's underappreciated film.
I think so too. Yeah, it's been on lately too. So, and it's funny what you mentioned, the Goonies. I didn't even write this down. There was an interview with Short Round.
Ki-Hu Kwan.
Sorry, that guy. Sorry about that. He said in Loki, he played that Obi character as if it was a variant of Data from Goonies.
I could totally see that.
He said the way he talked, the way he thought, is like a grown-up version of Data. That's how he played it in his mind.
I can see that, totally.
Yeah, that's pretty funny.
That is funny.
Tom, what else you got?
I actually think that's it.
You want a Rocky
the one Super
Hot
8 cube
Toys,
that's
though.
on eBay right now is up for $289, their best offer.
What?
Wow.
Yep. I don't even know where mine is. I got to find it.
I know where mine is. I think I even still have the original box that came.
Yeah, I
$289. That's no. Is it for sale or has it?
No,
sold?
it says for sale. It's his last one. So
that's one in the universe.
Apparently, I had one on my desk forever, like 3 offices ago. I got to figure.
I've seen that a bunch of times and I never bought it.
It's got to be in like one of my office boxes. So now I really want it. I got to find it.
You'll end up buying another one because you can't find
no,
the one you have in
it's going to
storage.
drive me crazy. That's happened before, Barry. You know that.
I'd like an original one. I wonder if
I know. I would like that too. Yeah. There were hundreds of them, thousands of them. You're right. The only other thing I had going back to Star Wars was they released some information about Andor Season 2, which kind of correlates to what we had already heard, but there's going to be 4 story arcs in the season. Episodes 1, 2, and 3 are 4 years before the Battle of Yavin. Episodes 4, 5, and 6 are 3 years before the Battle of Yavin. There's a pattern here. Episodes 7, 8, and 9 are 2 years before the Battle of Yavin. And then episodes 10, 11, and 12 are between 1 and 0 years before the Battle of Yavin. So it's going to literally lead right up to Rogue One. And they
I don't
announced
know why they're only doing 2 seasons.
I don't know. And they announced all the writers for each arc. So Tony Gilroy's writing the first arc, and then there's 3 other writers are writing each arc. But at least each arc is being written by a sole writer, so there'll be a lot of continuity and consistency in that. And we still haven't gotten a date, I don't think, for when we're going to get this. I think it's going to be, best case, late this year, but probably next year. But
yeah,
I'm super looking forward to it. So,
on that note, Filoni says he's actively writing Ahsoka Season 2.
Yeah, and it would seem, based on what he said, like, well, I mean, Favreau's doing the Mando movie, so I'm guessing Dave is focused on Ahsoka and Favreau is focused on the Mando movie, and maybe not.
Well, Dave is also focused on his movie. He's doing a movie,
right? But I think Ahsoka Season 2 comes first.
Yes, that's what he just said. Yeah. He's been He was working on a movie, but he's right now shifted gear. He came up with like an outline for the beginning of his movie, and now he is fully into writing Ahsoka Season 2. So
Well, I can tell you from very, very, very reliable sources that they are well into at least post-production on the Mando movie. If not...
Really?
Yeah.
Post-production?
I'm sorry.
Okay.
I misspoke. Pre-production.
Okay,
That's
that
a
makes
big
sense.
difference.
Yes, I misspoke. But yeah, they're deep into pre-production. Like I wouldn't be surprised if it goes in front of cameras pretty soon.
Interesting. This just in, a screen used cube sold for something on eBay.
100 or 1,000?
Huh?
400? Okay. Oh, that's not...
It says $475, but a best offer was accepted. And then a QMX one sold for $40.
Okay.
So the $235 or whatever is
never
way
gonna
down.
happen.
I found where you can buy one for $129, but it's still
I'll have to find one.
Still a cool prop. Either way.
Still a cool prop. Did I have anything else? Paul Giamatti's in Starfleet Academy.
Oh, that's right. We texted about that, but that was not on the show.
Yeah, he plays Tilly's husband. No, I don't know.
He plays a villain. We know, right?
Yeah,
they said
I
he
know,
plays
yeah.
a villain.
Okay, so
That's interesting.
there are a couple items for sale at Fanboy that I would like to talk about. Are we allowed to talk about them before, or should we do you want to do the ad and then we talk about them?
You know who's also awesome? Fanboy
Okay.
Collectibles. I'll do my... So, up for pre-order, Hot Toys Deadpool 3 Wolverine, which looks amazing.
Yes.
The movie, like, our rule now is the movie has to be good before you buy something. But, I don't know. Okay, we're in the middle of a commercial, but I'm going to ask the question. I'm breaking my own rules. Give a percentage of how you think this movie is going to be good or bad. Like, I'd say, I'll give you... I'm 90% sure.
I was also going to go with 90%.
Really good.
Yes.
Yeah, I got to say, I have a lot of confidence. I'm probably in the 85-90% myself.
Okay, fine. We'll get back to that another time. Okay, also, X06 Jean-Luc Picard with 2 uniforms, which is pretty
cool.
He's got the standard maroon and black, and then he's got the gray with the jacket, which is pretty cool.
Darmok and
awesome.
Tanagra jacket.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah. Yes, Barry. Yes, it is.
I hate that episode.
Okay, but you got to call it what it is.
Yeah.
Shaka when the
He wears
walls
that
fell.
other times, doesn't he? Doesn't he wear that other times?
Shaka
Anyway.
when the walls
Shaka when the walls fell.
Also, 1/3 scale Darth Maul statues with LED lightsabers. Those look awesome.
pretty amazing.
If you've got the space, I highly recommend them. Anyway, Pops and Sideshow and all that stuff. Todd, do you want to talk about it now, or is it...
Oh, no, just once we're... Are we out?
We're not out. So check those guys out, fanboycollectibles.com. Check them out at their store in Newtown, Connecticut. Tell them the regular Joe's sent you.
Okay.
Todd.
Couple things here that
You're
are
not going to
really,
bash anything, are you?
really cool. Okay. The Star Wars Mythos Obi-Wan premium scale figure. So they did this as a 1/6 scale figure like 5 years ago. And
it
they
was a while
did
ago.
kind of a mashup between the two actors that didn't quite look like either. They made it first as a statue, and then they made it as a figure. This gives you 2 different heads. And
Yeah, it's got an Alec Guinness head and a Ewan McGregor head.
so we've now
really cool.
now that we've legitimately seen an older Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan. So then now they have a basis. I think that's really cool. It's I kind of wish the 1/6 scale figure was like that, but very awesome. I might break the Wonder Woman 84 rule for Wolverine. So
I know. It's pretty freaking awesome.
and
It looks great. And since we're out of the commercial, if I can say this, Dave, if I can't, I was a little surprised at it's an expensive figure.
it is an expensive
for a
figure,
single
but there's a
figure.
lot of stuff there.
Yeah, and again, Hot Toys quality is worth the value, so I'm not saying that it's overpriced, but for a individual Hot Toys figure, it's up on the higher end, and usually that price point means electronics or something.
Yeah, you got additional chest pieces. You've got
There's a couple
There could
heads
be more
too,
licensing too.
Yeah. So
and I think it is at least 2 heads, if not more.
Right, 2 heads. You got a separate. You got a damaged chest, and you got it's like it's
The 2 of them on a shelf will be awesome. Wolverine and Deadpool on a shelf would be pretty awesome.
Yeah.
It's funny that they put Wolverine out first.
I was going to say the same thing. I have an interesting. Other than that, Deadpool's uniform is going to be very similar to 2 previously released figures, and this is
Well, and there hasn't been a Wolverine in a little while. There's been a Deadpool more recently.
There was one just last year, but never anything quite like this.
Nothing like
this. Yeah, because the other one took forever. The Days of Future Past one took forever to come out.
Plus, it's the blue and yellow. Which
that's what I'm saying. This is the Wolverine that people have wanted for years, and I think Deadpool's going to come out, and people are like, do I want another Deadpool? This is going to come out first, and then they're going to be like, oh, I need both. So,
and I bet you the Deadpool is going to take all the other Deadpools they've ever done and blow them away.
Yeah, and again, it's going to
come with a million great accessories.
There'll be movie-specific things. I will tell you, I am tempted on Picard, even though I have Picard. I have a Picard. This is a much more benign-looking Picard.
That's classic Picard.
It's the classic
Which
Picard.
Picard do you guys have? Because I have the original.
Yes,
what's it called? It was before they were XO6. It was the other company. I have their Picard, which is great, but this one does.
This one's got a great head sculpt. Ours, he just looks so pissed.
The First Contact.
We have angry Picard. We have Get Off My Ship Picard.
Well, he's got a reason to be angry.
Yeah, there's no question. So
I love that movie, and I like that. I don't think I'd get another one, but that one's pretty awesome.
So
yeah. Anyway, speaking of awesome, let's talk about the Acolyte.
Okay.
So there's going to be spoilers. I'm sorry, people. There's been 3 episodes. Get caught up. By the time you listen to this, there'll be 4 out. We're only going to talk about the first 3, obviously, because we haven't seen the 4th. But I don't.
May I go for just a second?
Dislike it that much.
May I go just very briefly and get this out of my system?
I'm wishing somebody would say something.
Okay,
be my guest.
Okay, go back about 5 episodes. I nailed this. Okay, go ahead. I said exactly what this was going to be.
Said.
Well, I don't think you. I think that you nailed aspects of it.
You said it was going to be like a teen.
No, I never said teen. No, I said
thing.
20-somethings. The other one is going to be a teen. It's going to be a bunch of pretty 20-somethings. There's evidence. Go back and listen. The other one is going to be the teens. This is the 20-somethings, and I said Carrie Ann Moss is going to be a figurehead. We're going to see her in a few brief scenes, and boy, was I right on that. Much more than I anticipated.
One brief scene.
Far more than I
was
anticipated.
A surprise.
Well, we've now seen her in 2 scenes, but
Soul is sort of the lead guy, but I don't think that's all it's about. Not all. I think it's got so many other issues.
Is a presence when he's on screen. He's had a lot less screen time than the other characters, than at least one other set of characters. So it's not about him.
I don't know. I'd like to hear Barry's. I don't think the first 2 episodes I didn't think were horrible. The 3rd one I didn't like, and then it opened up some questions about the first 2. Barry?
Well, in preparation for this discussion, I took a screenshot of the Rotten Tomatoes page.
Oh my god, I have that written down right
now. When I took the screenshot a day ago. The average tomato meter is 84%, so the critics are rating it very highly. At the time I took the screenshot, the audience score was 16%. I just looked right now; it's down to 15%.
I saw that, but you know the other interesting thing, and I don't know if you noticed that the number. So they say the reviewers. There's an average of 250 reviews. I think that's the number it was. The average of fan reviews is 10,000.
Yeah.
Now, I'm like, oh, that's a lot. And like, maybe that's just the way it is.
No, it's bots.
I look back, there's not a show that has more than 1,000 reviews.
Yeah, it's getting slammed by bots, which is part of the problem.
I don't know about that. I think there's a lot of piling on. But
yeah, I think there's a lot of piling
But
on.
you couldn't get that many people to take the time to go rate this show.
Oh, I disagree.
just couldn't.
I totally disagree.
But even a show like What was been out? Like The Boys?
Okay, but here's the
1,000
thing.
reviews.
Okay, here's the central truth of the internet. People bitch about something, they will never compliment something. So,
Especially Star Wars.
But I'm saying,
if they don't like
if
it,
you like it, you don't say anything. Okay?
True.
If you don't like it, you join the teeming masses, you pick up your torch, and you storm the castle. And that's what's going on here.
But I agree with that. That would get you about maybe 2,000 to 3,000 reviews. I don't think the amount of reviews there. I think that it started with The Last Jedi and The Rise of Skywalker, and I think
they're not the same.
No. I'm talking about.
Let's go into that.
No, we won't. But I'm talking about the attacks on Star Wars and what people are calling woke Star Wars and whatever you want to call it. I think that they've activated like bots on this. I don't think that you could possibly get.
You know what? I don't concur with that. I think
in 3 weeks you're not going to have that many people. It's 2 weeks. It's only 2 weeks.
Yeah, no, I think you have huge groups of people who came into this not thinking they were not going to like it, were validated, and then just jumped all over this thing.
Well, the things that Leslie Headland have been out there saying aren't helping.
Exactly. Yeah. So 10,000 is not a large number of Star Wars fans. And if you look at the people that live in their basement,
you just don't get that many people reacting. Period. On
if you look at the number of Star Wars fans that live in their mom's basement, okay, that have nothing better to do, I think it far eclipses this number. And
I think so. And if they don't like something, I think that they're vehement about it. Anyway, we'll never know that.
Right.
But
well, what
do you think about it?
Are you asking me?
Yeah,
the guy that likes everything. I'm very, very on the fence about this. I honestly feel like it could go either way right now. I'm exactly where you were. I kind of liked the first 2 episodes, although I was a little dubious. I really didn't like most of the elements of the 3rd episode. But if it's building towards a story that I think it might be building towards, it could pay off well enough that I will give that episode a pass. I have to keep reminding myself that what they've said is that this is about the Sith. We haven't really seen the Sith yet, except for that one guy standing on a rock. So if the Sith are behind what happened...
Not standing, Barry. Posing.
But if the Sith are behind what happened in Episode 3, the massacre in Episode 3, then that could make this interesting. But...
Oh, you're saying they may have actually done it?
Can we actually talk about what we've seen instead of what we're hoping to see?
Sure.
Okay. So what have you seen that you like so far?
That's a hard question to answer.
But we're talking about these 3 episodes.
No, I know. I mean, I'm enjoying the fact that it's not another Skywalker family saga story. I like that it's something different. I like that. I like
seeing the Jedi at their sort of height, even more so than the prequels. You know, there's a lot of Jedi.
Well, if you think about the prequels, while that's the height we've ever seen them at up till this, but they're not at their peak because
they're not. They're at their end.
They're at their end. The what does Yoda say? The shroud of the dark side had fallen. It was clouding their abilities. So even though that was the most active we'd ever seen the Jedi up till that point, it wasn't their peak. This is at 100 years earlier, and this is at the end of the High Republic era. They've said it's the end of the High Republic. So
so it wasn't at their height, but it's the height that we've seen.
It's the height we've seen them.
And I thought there's some interesting things that I thought. So here's the Jedi on Coruscant, and then even like the CIA station in Kazakhstan, there's these bunch of bumbling sort of Jedi in the off-world planets. I thought it was that was interesting to see. There's sort of everyone's not this cool Jedi. The fat, crappy Jedis are, in the crappy planets.
But they made a comment in the first episode when they found out that a Jedi had been killed, and Saul is talking to the green Jedi lady, and they're talking about they've got to basically cover it up because if word got out, their enemies could use it against them politically. We don't know who their enemies are at this stage of the game.
Oh,
there's
think
a bunch of
I think what
unknown
they're
stuff.
seeding is that this is like the beginning of the decline of the Jedi's power. I think they were just kind of taken to be, this is elements of a religious order as well as a law enforcement thing. And
But who are their enemies?
once people start, I think there's detractors.
I don't think everyone loved the Jedi.
That's what I'm saying. I think there's
that's
people who don't think, because remember, no standing armies. They covered a whole lot of territory. I think there's people that would be suspect to them and have issues with them.
Yeah, I think I agree with that, and I do think they seem there's a cockiness to them that is almost like a military / police force that's a little
religious,
too full of
That's
themselves.
also
You definitely,
But I also
think
went
you
back
got
and forth
that
because
a bit.
I was annoyed by what the Jedi did at first, because what gives them the right to basically like monitor what this witch coven is doing, and then show up unannounced, essentially break in and demand to test the kids. So I was kind of like, wait a minute, like I'm feeling
show up in force, no pun intended. Okay, to take their kids for their own good.
Yeah, I thought the Jedi were definitely. We're not seeing like, oh my god, the Jedis are all good, all know, all the. They're not. I thought that's an interesting take on it.
Right, but then you look at the other side of it, and then you've got this coven of witches who are clearly being chased away from everywhere they are, because they're saying that they've been, persecuted, and that this is the only place that they've been able to find where they can sort of, hide and not be bothered by anybody, and they're clearly tapping in. Yeah. Well, they're tapping into the dark side, but
but you know what? I don't know if they're tapping into the dark side. I thought it was interesting, and with episode 3, you said you didn't like. I don't remember what you said, but I didn't mind the concepts. I thought the execution was horrible, and I'll get to that in a second. But I thought it was interesting that
the singing was terrible.
What?
The singing was terrible.
The what?
The chanting.
The acting was horrible. The directing was horrible. But I thought it was interesting that here's this galaxy. Let's just call it a galaxy and not a universe of hundreds, if not thousands, of planets. And just like religion, I mean, you got Judaism thinks God is this, Christianity thinks this, Muslim. Why wasn't there ever different people's interpretation of the Force? And
but there are.
I thought this was an interesting concept.
Well, there are, and Dave, you haven't seen the animation, right? So you're not aware of all the other things that Todd and I have seen.
Our faith is the one true faith, is what these Jedi are saying, and
they're a little full of themselves.
They are a little full of themselves. They've also themselves been indoctrinated.
But it also appears that there's some kind of galactic law, because he says to them, even you can't challenge the fact that I'm within my rights to test your kids.
Yeah.
And they let them test the kids. So that's got to be some kind of galactic-wide thing, that if the Jedi shows up and says, let me test your kids, that you have to let them. That was weird.
I think that's tying into, obviously, current political bullshit and all that, but I love the Jedi, and all that, but I could see them. There are times when they were probably just a little out of control and
I think someone who's a Force wielder, who's a rogue Force wielder, is a threat. So I think this is the whole thing with the Jedi, is the Jedi takes these people in. Okay, if
before they can let them
train with Professor X, you're not going to be a threat. But if you're on your own, you're going to be. We got to worry about.
That's not a bad. I mean, that's almost like. Yeah, it's like you've got these abilities. You can't be left to your own purposes.
But it also, and we obviously didn't see who or what murdered all of the witches, right? So we're led to believe that they died of the fire, but I don't think they did.
No, so that's the part where the poor execution of a lot of things.
But
like they're just dead, and you just keep walking by them.
I think we're going to get another perspective on what happened there in maybe in the next episode or in an upcoming episode. But
I hope so.
If we don't, then that's ridiculous.
It's a mess. And the other thing is, again, all spoilers. The Jedi who was levitating who killed himself, he didn't do anything bad. But why did he kill himself?
But we haven't seen it yet, right? So Saul made the comment, we thought we were doing the right thing. If all they did was rescue this one girl, the one survivor of this fire, then they did the right thing.
No.
But the fact that they feel guilt about what they did...
There's got to be more.
There has to be more to it.
Problem.
What I think is they led someone to that world. I think someone followed them to that world. I don't necessarily know. I was also wondering when we saw the other sister, the sister start the fire, whether that was actually her or not. Okay? So...
I hope we get answers. If they leave it at that...
I think it was her.
This
really
whole thing
bad.
is like set up like... It's basically a Jedi police procedural. Okay, we're supposed to be deconstructing this crime and all this kind of stuff and going back, and now we have more pieces, and then they're going to talk some more about it. It's, I don't think, Dave, as you start to say, I don't think it's made particularly well. I think it's I don't think there's anything Star Wars that looks as cheap as this does. The shots are not sophisticated. The acting is not particularly good. I think Master Soul is very good. Okay,
I think he's good. I actually think the girl the grown up, whatever her name is, I think she's pretty good.
But everybody
Those
else
two
around
kids
them
were horrible,
horrible.
And that Jedi with his weird fake beard that was awful.
It's just. Yeah, and what is with the stereotype that a Wookiee has to be fixing shit? Okay, it's like every time you're going to make the Wookiee be the mechanic, no matter what.
But they do that. What's wrong with that?
So, well, and I don't know.
I thought his shaved head really freaked me out.
Yeah, he had like a weird mohawk
skin.
Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah. And you're talking about how it looks. The reported budget per episode is $22 million,
and you don't see that here.
Which is more than they spent on Obi-Wan.
No,
and it's hard to compare this to Godzilla -1 because the what it costs to do special effects in Japan is a lot cheaper than what it costs a U.S. company to do special effects. But that whole movie was made for less than the cost of one episode of this show.
Right. But the thing is, I look at this, Barry, and I think like, okay, they've got the pieces here, but they had the same pieces to make Andor. And Andor is beautifully shot, okay? And it feels like Star Wars. You feel like you're in this world. I heard one criticism of this. I wish I'd thought of this myself. That basically said this looks like if CW made a Star Wars show, okay? Just not far off. You've got a bunch of pretty 20-somethings, okay? And a bunch of like waist-up shots and things like this that just don't look like Star Wars. This isn't filmed like Star Wars. It doesn't look like it's focusing on the characters and not the settings. It's, I don't know.
Well, and the one shot that we got of this Sith character, when he spoke, it sounded like the voice of the Reverse Flash or something. It didn't sound Star Wars-y
and again,
at all.
He's standing at a rock posing with a light. It's just like, it was like, wow, that was supposed to be a moment. I know it was.
Yeah,
but I'm hoping though that as this story unfolds itself, and that as we get more information, and all right, we're almost at the halfway point. The episode that airs tomorrow night or Wednesday night is the halfway point, and we haven't seen any Sith other than that one shot of that guy, and like this was supposed to be about the Sith undermining the Jedi. So where are the Sith?
Well, maybe they're. I do think, like I said, the concepts are interesting. Execution is not great. Some of the characters are okay, and it's and then she also supposedly created the daughters with that, like Anakin was created. That's interesting.
Well, and that's why I've got to believe that the Sith. I'd like to believe that the Sith were involved in that. The Sith, because maybe. That was something that Darth Plagueis learned from his master, and nobody had ever done that before. And I mean, when you think about it, there's a lot of similarities. There's twins, just like Luke and Leia are twins. You've got what we think is the good sister who wants to go off and have adventures and join the Jedi and be, a force for good. The other sibling, I think her name is, she literally says, if you won't stay, I'll kill you. Like, that was just, you could tell that they were like opposites, and you can tell that she's bad, but
it's just
because
it makes you even
the idea
is she
evil
bad?
twin is as old as the soap opera. Okay,
but is she
not
really
good
bad?
writing? It's not good storytelling. It's very thin.
She was doing exactly what the Coven wanted her to do. So you have to. Part of me is questioning: is she really bad? Is she just doing what she was
I
raised
think as a rule,
to
Barry,
do?
if you threaten to kill your sister over decisions she's making, you're probably not on the right path.
I guess,
but that's just me.
But you're right. It's a cheap way of showing
it really
she's
is. And that's what I'm
There's
saying.
better ways to do
they
it.
didn't work for anything here. Okay, and I wanted to like this. I'm looking at this and and again, I like the Master Soul character. I just feel like they're kind of ambling their way through this. They're trying to make this again like a mystery, but it's a lot more Mystery She Wrote than something.
Well, and
actually
I watched the first 2 episodes the night they premiered, and I didn't know what to think of them. So that weekend, I rewatched them a second time to see what do I actually like it? Do I not like it? And I came away from it still not knowing how I felt about it, quite honestly. And then I watched the latest.
That's because you don't like it, but you can't bring yourself.
I don't want to believe that I hate it as much as I think I do. Is what I really think is going on.
I would have given those first 2 episodes like a 6.5. The third one, again, interesting concepts they're really delving into, but just the execution is horrible.
It wasn't until the second time I watched the first 2 episodes that I noticed that May had that white tattoo thing on her head. And my initial thought was, oh, well, that's just a way to tell the two, oh, now I know.
You can never see it,
but you can't see it because of the braids. But at least now we saw how she got that. But yeah, the whole thing with how the twins were created. I mean, there's been a lot in the Star Wars animation and a little bit even in Ahsoka, right, with the Witches of Dathomir, and so we've seen some of this.
Yeah,
people like witches using the. They're not calling it the Force; they're calling it the threads, which I didn't really like. Pull the thread. It's kind of.
I actually thought that was good because it's like they're the Force is kind of like kind of trademarked by the Jedi, and so. They have their own terms. So
no, I'm okay with it being called something else, but I didn't like it being called the thread. I just didn't like that.
I'm curious what all these people who give it the 15%, what do they hate about it? No offense to the rest of the world. I think we're being a little more
objective.
Not objective and also a little more
if it's 50,
thought out about
15% equates to 1.5 on a scale of 1 to 10, right?
Yeah. But what do they hate about it? I bet there's some people made the Jedi not all good and all knowing. I don't like that.
I don't dislike it to that degree, but I would say I probably thought the first episodes were around a 5, and the second one was maybe a 4. Or the third one is the first 2 were 5, and the third one
I'd say a 6 and a 3. Yeah. I really didn't like those kids. No offense to those poor girls, but they were horrible.
And again,
it's not their fault, but still, there was too much of them.
It's interesting. Star Wars has this curse of hiring kids who can't act and giving them horrible dialogue.
But you can almost understand because we all know George Lucas is not an actor's director.
Yeah, he's got nothing to do with
these things.
But but I was going to say at this stage of the game, the people that they're bringing in should know better.
Okay, I will say, I don't think the young Ahsoka was anything other than awesome. I thought she did absolutely terrific. I think the Leia character, which kind of irritated me a little bit, I think actually worked really well in that series.
She acted, but she was 3 years too young for that role.
I know that, but I'm saying I think she was good. I think this is just bad. So I think that curse was broken a while ago, Barry, but it's returned to form.
Yeah, it's just I am agreeing with everything you guys are saying. I'm having a hard time believing that they made the show and it's just as bad as I think it is.
Yeah.
I can't even defend it, which, I'm usually pretty good at defending the Star Wars.
It can redeem itself. I really, and I haven't read any reviews of or rants, but I'm curious. I think those people dislike it for different reasons than we do.
Okay, there are no white male characters in here. Okay, that seem to have any virtue whatsoever, and that is a big swath of the Star Wars audience.
Well, there's a few. There's a couple of the Jedi.
What's that?
Two of the Jedi are white males, or close to white males.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
I'm telling you.
Well, I could see the Trump
you got
supporters
a whole swath of this.
Star Wars is a white universe, just like this country.
If you look at the demographic of a Star Wars convention, you got a huge swath of that audience that's in no way represented here, and I'm telling you, that is, whether they understand it or not, viscerally, that's part of their objection.
But I know that you and I are not agreeing on this point, and that's okay. But if those 10,000 reviews are real, I bet you 8,000 of those people never even watched this show. I think that there's a group of people that get activated anytime that there's something that doesn't meet their type, that they don't agree with philosophy of it or something, and they go after it. So
okay.
we've got
think
an entire group of women
but
with no
I
men,
don't think that's
and
the bulk of it. And again, neither of us can quantify any of that. Our suppositions, but yes,
look at what happened to Kelly Marie Tran. And again, I don't want to talk about that movie, but look at what happened to Kelly Marie Tran. She got destroyed on the internet, and that wasn't all from people that didn't like that movie.
People have actually gone back and done analysis of that. Okay, and that was never anywhere near the close to the bulk of the sentiment. It was just what got a ton of oxygen.
But it became the story, and that's what I'm saying.
You've got a tiny minority of people, okay, who are being very vocal. Tiny in that case. Very tiny minority of people being vocal. And then she starts talking about how much it hurt her and how painful it is, and everybody else starts talking about it and how this shouldn't happen and all this kind of stuff. It's still a tiny minority. This is a lot more than a tiny minority. This is a huge swath of people that are saying they didn't like that.
I think it's a combination.
I think that there's an awful lot of activated hate on the internet that
there's no question.
People just go after things because it's the thing to go after, and whether they care about it or not, it's easy to throw your hat in and go, I'm going to give this a 16%. Because everybody else is doing it, and it's fun to watch it struggle on
Barry,
the internet.
You can't defend this thing, but you're saying they're wrong.
No, I'm not. I just don't believe that there are as many people.
We're not at 15%.
No, I know that. But that's what I'm saying.
We're at 50%.
I am perfectly fine with people not liking this if they don't like this. And I don't think we have to analyze that or dismantle that in any way. It's just, I look at this. And I wonder how the people who released this expected something different, frankly.
Well, they also know the whole story, so it's possible that there's some redemption for this series.
You're just not coming off of that.
Well, no, but if they knowingly released something that's if it remains as bad as it is in the third episode.
Sorry, I was choking.
No, I enjoyed that show. I'm not going to take that.
I'm actually looking through some of these things. There's a guy who gave it half a star who basically said what we said. Episodes 1 and 2 were okay. Episode 3 came as the worst Star Wars they've seen to date. The writing and some of the acting was poor. I agree with that. There's a lot of 5 stars. Where's all the bad stuff? Great stuff.
That's a bot.
Another poor attempt at watering down a classic Star Wars franchise. We need more shows like the Mandalorian, not this one. Rogue One was a great movie. They gave it so blah, 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 blah. I really wanted to like it, but it's so empty. There's no life at all. The series just is like watching the dead make a movie. Everything is just boring if you compare.
But it is all
one of the worst, cringy shows I've ever seen. There's no defending this. It's really terrible. The plot holes are many. The writing is unmanaged and mediocre. The actors themselves do disservice to the poorly written characters.
All right, but I will defend a little bit of that. you can't say that there's plot holes when we haven't seen the whole story yet. It could just be that they haven't revealed certain aspects of the story yet that makes it look like there's a plot hole.
No, Barry, a plot hole is if there's no explanation how you get from point A to point B, and you're supposed to be moving on to point C. I don't think this is explained
But if it's a murder mystery type thing, and they're revealing little bits of the plot as they go, you can't know everything in episode 3 that you would know by the time you got to episode 8.
I got to say, reading half a dozen of these, I thought it would be like, we didn't see any Sith and it's been 3 episodes. Or the Jedi are all good. They're not. They're saying the same things we're saying.
They're just marking it down
at least
more.
in the fivers.
Choosing to rate it worse than we are.
But give it a half a star.
That's what I'm saying, Barry. I think these people's baseline is a lot lower than ours. Okay? But I don't think they're that far off from the way we feel at this point.
And I think that based on just the way that Star Wars fandom has gone, if it's not Andor, it's shit, and people like piling on. So
Bad Batch.
It doesn't change the way
Bad Batch
that I don't like it.
Did pretty good, right, in terms of reviews, right?
Yeah, I mean, animated versus live action. Though the live action stuff always gets more
Ahsoka
attention
got
than the
hit but
animation.
bounced back somewhat. Okay, I don't think I think this thing kind of stands out as being a target, and I think the makeup of the cast has something to do with it. But I also think this is lazy Star Wars. I really do.
Yeah, that's what people are saying. I agree with it.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that too. But I'm just holding out hope that once the whole story was revealed, that maybe that will make it. It's the theory of retroactive.
And that's why we love you, Barry, because it just.
I was prepared with my crystal skull. I have it right here.
Flying off my desk because a cat was knocking over.
It could start redeeming itself. It's just the problems I have are not.
But nothing they're going to show us is going to make episode 3 better.
Dave, it's like, I don't think this is a quality show. I don't think this represents the money spent. So if somebody different directed and plotted out the next several episodes, there's a chance it's going to pull it out. But that strikes me as very odd. Unlikely.
Well, and I don't think anything that they're going to do is going to make me like the things I didn't like about the 3rd episode. The things I didn't like about the 3rd episode were not necessarily the story.
Hey, but Carrie Ann Moss had 3 more lines, so
yeah, that was weird.
But I do think though, like I might like where the story ends up, or at least I might accept where the story ends up, and it might make the series better.
It's just bad.
But episode 3 was bad. I mean, I don't mind the stories of the witches. I actually really enjoyed the stories that they've done about the different witch cults in the animated shows and even in Ahsoka. But this witch cult, I just didn't like. I didn't like the singing. I didn't like the way they portrayed them.
Stupid dance. You didn't. I liked that was my favorite part. The weird dancing.
I figured the dancing and the singing was your favorite part.
Anyway, all right.
Wasn't great.
Like Discovery, we'll talk about this every
That's
week.
like the quote for the book cover. Wasn't great, in quotes, Barry K. Right there. You got it.
We'll talk more.
And I'm the guy that likes everything.
All right, quickly. What else are you guys watching? Not a lot of commentary, just more like a listing of what else people are watching.
Okay.
Well, I caught up on Evil. And I know we were talking about it. I had not watched any of season 3. I have now caught up. I was texting Todd about it. I think this is like when the X-Files was at its best, Evil's like that every single episode of every single season.
It sounds a lot like Supernatural, I think.
When it was good. But it's because it's a handful of episodes per season. The quality of episodes is up there. They're all unique. They call back to other things, but they're not going heavy into the mythology. There's a backstory plot, but every episode has its own plot. And
it's only it's into its 4th season, which is the final season. They're like 10 episodes a season. It's easy and bingeable, and if you're looking for something to watch, go find it on Paramount Plus. It's great.
And I like the I mentioned to you, Barry, the elevator episode has impacted me in a way that I won't get past. I will never get in an elevator by myself anymore. Yeah, very, very good. You're actually ahead of me because it's something I watched with Karen, and she has.
Well, I was traveling as you were, so I loaded it all up on my iPad and I binged it while I was out of town.
Yeah.
So,
You got another one, Barry?
No, you can go.
Okay, so I stuck with, and I really like Dark Matter. I think it's
Me too.
Me too. I'm caught
it's
up.
a thing.
I'm caught up, and I really am like.
This
It's
week
a
is
show.
the-
It's
is
a
the-
concept we've seen before. We talked about this. Okay, I've gone back and actually looked at who directed these episodes because actually Roxanne Dawson directed the.
Yes,
Yeah,
I saw
that was
she
the
did
last
at
one I
least
watched.
two.
She directed.
The camera angles, the different perspectives, all the stuff they've done has been really, really clever. The way they've deviated from the book, I think, is really good. They made it much. They kind of added some breath to it and some a little more suspense to it, and just really, really impressed with this show.
Yeah, I'm enjoying it a lot. I think they're doing, and I was surprised. I think there's 13 episodes,
is it?
or
Oh, I thought
yeah,
it was.
I was
8.
like,
Oh, that's funny. I thought it was only going to be 8 or 10. I thought it was coming to an
I
end.
gotta look it up again because I was like, wow, I didn't realize it was a weekly thing because I was way behind.
No, I think it's. I thought it was 8
and now
episodes.
I'm caught up waiting.
Okay, because
I think
they got a little ways to cover, but yeah. Did you get the end of the last? Are you all caught up?
yes,
I am.
Okay, what happened at the end of the last episode?
Oh, okay. Spoilers. I gotta feel like there's some guy who in a very close universe
We're not
that's
talking about two
doing the
Jasons
same thing he's
anymore.
doing.
We're talking about 3.
3. Yep.
Well, there's tons.
No, but I'm
one
saying on
is-
this world,
3 in the
reality.
same place. Yeah.
In this reality,
So Jason 1
as I described it, yes,
is-
Jason 1, bad Jason,
finally
Jason 3.
found his universe, and now Jason 3 is probably in the wrong universe.
But very close. Yes.
very close. Sorry, spoilers. If you have
That will make
too late
no
now,
sense
but
to
I
you
did say
whatsoever. If you
spoilers.
haven't watched it, we didn't ruin that for you, but it's it's
I just looked it up on IMDb, and there's an episode 8 comes out this week, and they've got a listing for an episode 9, but nothing past
No,
that.
let me see that. I looked it up. This is fascinating.
Yeah,
for
it is
people.
really good, though, and I was a little dubious of it, but it's great. I'm really enjoying it.
Dark Matter. 39 episodes. Is there a different Dark Matter?
no, it's a different.
I
show.
don't think they're
That's
doing
the
that.
old Dark Matter. It was a sci-fi show.
I thought they said 13.
No, I
somewhere.
thought it was under 10, but
Well, if it's only 9, then they've got 2 episodes to wrap it up.
and that makes sense.
Oh, it says will consist of a total of 9
Okay,
episodes.
that works for what they've got left to do. I couldn't imagine how they've got to do it. They're
I
going
don't
to
know why. I must have. Maybe I read
how they
something
do
else.
it in one. The
It was probably 13 of the old series because there were 13
yeah.
episodes over 3
That's how you
seasons.
get 39,
It's not the same
yeah.
thing, is it? It's not the same story, is
Yeah,
it?
it's a completely different thing. Just same title.
Yeah. That must have been
Yeah,
what
completely
I saw.
different show. Another thing that I'm watching, I'm really, really enjoying is Outer Range on Amazon, and this is a hard one
Is
to
that the
explain.
one with
if you take
Josh Brolin?
Josh Brolin, if you take Yellowstone and you mix in the Twilight Zone, you kind of get it. But there is a hole in the ground in Wyoming that is just messing with time, and it was a little bit slow getting going in the last season. You know there were a lot of anomalies, like all of a sudden buffalo would show up with arrows stuck in them and stuff, and now it's gone for broke. You have like 3 consecutive timeline stories going on, and people like walking in the wrong place and ending up in the wrong time, and it's really, really good.
I think if I start watching that, it'll get canceled and never. So I'm
Well,
going to wait until
Barry,
it's all
it was
done,
2
and
years
then
between seasons, and I didn't think we'd ever get a second season, so I wouldn't have recommended it before now. But I'll tell you, the ride of I'm halfway through the second season. The ride of it, we'll see where it ends up, but it's excellent. And I'll tell you, this is one where you talk about. I mean, everything that's happening they did the work for and plotted all these little elements in the previous season with like all these threads. I know you don't like that word. Threads are coming together and forming a whole, and you're like, holy crap, that was this, and that was this. And one person, because he's from another time, knew all of these things that had to happen, were going to happen, and basically just had to say nothing, a la Steve Rogers. And really good. Just really, really enjoyable. So,
all right. Well, when it's all done, I'll binge it.
I watched some documentaries. I watched the Blue Angels one, which was pretty good. I think they could have got more into the hardware, which they didn't, but it was pretty good. Produced by Glenn Powell, who's everywhere. I watched the Jim Henson documentary.
Oh, I've heard that's great.
Which was good. It's stuff I didn't know about, about him. I watched Hitman. We talked about. Did you watch Hitman, Todd?
I did not.
Yeah, it's worth watching. It's funny.
I will.
Yeah, it's not bad. What else did I watch? I started The Boys. We'll get into that later.
I watched, speaking of documentaries, I watched the documentary on MoviePass that's on Max.
Oh, I saw that. I didn't know what that was all about.
Yeah, well, I mean, it was back in the late 90s or early 2000s. It was, credit card that you would use to buy movie tickets, and you paid $10 a month and you can see as many movies as you want. And it was never profitable and lost an amazing amount of money. And the two guys that started it got pushed out. The two African-American gentlemen that started it got pushed out by the old white man executives that came in to finance the company. It
sounded like they were all nuts.
Yeah, and they spent like over $1 million to promote themselves at Coachella, which makes no sense because that's a music festival. Like it took a company that was on an upward trajectory and killed it in a year. So it was
sounds like WeWork.
It was very much like that. So that was worth watching. What was the other doc? Oh, we watched. I love my cults. I watched a documentary about a guy who ran a TikTok cult and had all these dancers, but he brainwashed them into this religious organization. It's only 3 episodes. It's on Netflix. It was really interesting. So not as good as NXIVM, but interesting.
I started at Presumed Innocence just because I needed something to watch with him.
My question with that, Dave, is you saw the movie, right? You read the book. The sum of that is the revelation of who the killer was. Unless they do something different, how do you sustain that for a miniseries? When it's like, I know.
I guess they're counting on people who have not
it's
seen the movie.
Bedelia. No.
But it was a long time ago. That
it was a long time ago, but again,
young people haven't seen it.
And the way
it's the Sixth Sense, Barry. You can't remake the Sixth Sense because it's like,
and the way they reveal the murder weapon, watch it before you put it away. It's so stupid in the movie. It was just
how hard would it have been to cover your tracks?
Yeah, but again, like I said, it's one of those things where the whole thing, there's 3 or 4 stories that you can't retell. Okay, and it's like the Sixth Sense, it's like The Crying Game, the murder of Roger Ackroyd. It's like if you know the resolution of these things.
There was nothing to watch. I like Jake Gyllenhaal. It's okay.
Yeah. Hey, come on. We knew how Titanic ended, and we all went to see that.
We didn't know Jack was going to buy it.
We didn't know Jack was going to
buy
it. There was room on that door.
There was room on the door. Rose. Come on. Seriously.
What's your problem?
Rose had had enough of that, trashy Jack.
That's right. I will say I went back now that the season is over, and I watched the season of Doctor Who, and
it was 4 episodes?
No, 8.
Was it? The new one on Disney Plus.
The season's done. It's 8. It ends in a cliffhanger.
Really?
He's good. I got to say he brings energy to the show that it has not had since Matt Smith left, and I like him. I think they dwelled on one plot line too much this season, but it's better than it has been, and I know it's getting very low ratings. It's better than it's been for a long time. So I don't think
Matt Smith, Dave, did you see the dragon on top of the Empire State Building?
No.
They literally put a 140-foot dragon on the spire of the Empire State Building.
Oh, it's not just a projection?
No, it's a freaking inflatable dragon on the top of the Empire State Building.
Is it?
I saw pictures of it. I didn't see it in person.
Wow.
Anyway,
I
sorry.
would have looked today. I could always see it when I'm walking to work.
It's probably still up there. Check tomorrow.
Yeah. All right, let's do a quick what's in the box.
Show you with the box. Who's in the box? What's in the box? What's in the box?
Regular Joe's What's in the Box.
Barry, what's in the box?
Well, I know I showed you guys this already, but it wasn't on the show. So I received a new Hot Toy figure the other day. It's the Padme Amidala figure from Attack of the Clones. It's unbelievable likeness, like they always do.
Awesome.
I mean, they just perfectly nailed it. The tailoring on the outfit is great. It's the white outfit from Attack of the Clones. I have not seen any yet, but I guarantee somebody's already cut the stomach.
I was going to say, Barry, I admire your restraint
shirt.
that you haven't. Did you check to see if she's got a belly button? Because
I have not.
Because
feeling through the shirt, there is a belly button.
Okay,
yes.
so a couple of snips, you'd be there.
Or there's at least abs. I'm not sure. But I mean, it's the tailoring on it's great. The proportions are right. She's the right height next to Anakin, and
that's good.
It's not a dynamic figure that you're going to do crazy poses with. I mean, I've got her posed with the rifle, blaster rifle up in one hand. That's probably the way she's going to stay from now to the end of time.
Good. It's white,
but they nailed it. I mean,
out.
it's it's a great figure. So super happy with it.
That's cool.
And I've got another one real quick. I've never owned a wacky package, but I recently bought this on eBay because I didn't know it existed.
Cool.
It's a G.I. Joe, or they call G.I. Toe, wacky package sticker, and I hadn't bought a G.I. Joe thing in probably a decade, but I felt like I needed it, so. And I put it in this little case to keep it nice.
I argue it's not a decade, but it's
it's probably not a decade.
I argue it's not a year.
All right, but I haven't bought. I don't buy G.I. Joe items very often anymore.
Wait a minute, didn't you buy that action figure? Didn't you buy the anniversary action figure?
Oh, you're right. That was just a month ago.
So 2 months.
Okay, I argue it's not
2 months.
But it's not Adventure Team. This is Adventure Team.
It has been 2 months, and he's saying a decade. So
it says the toy that gives you athlete's foot.
Nice.
Hold your nose. G.I. Toe. Includes 5 corns, 2 blisters, and
that's gross.
Okay. It's cute though. I like it.
Todd, what do you got?
Okay, so I will be as quick as possible, but it's not going to be.
Is it a Moon Knight action figure?
Okay, it is not a Moon Knight. I went through all the Moon Knights. Okay, so I can't get the camera close enough. So
there's a whole camera thing going on.
It is Batman from the Batman. Okay, and his motorcycle. Okay, I'm not going to lift this up because I had a hell of a time getting him on there. Really, really cool figure. Great detail. Done super, super well.
Is that Hot Toys?
This is Hot Toys. Yep. So it came last month. Okay.
Is that head on with a magnet?
That head is on with a magnet.
That's what I thought.
I actually like that. I got to say. He also comes with emo Bruce Wayne. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And if that's not emo enough for you, hang on. We have an alternate headpiece, even more emo Bruce Wayne. Okay.
Oh God.
They have 3 heads.
Yeah, different headpieces.
Alternate hair,
and then a cowl for when the thing is off. Really, really well done. Great. I'm going to put this in a display case, along with Catwoman on the Bat Pod. You can see back there. So she's got a spot. So the Bat cycles go together. Just great. Yeah, really great. So far, I'm having a lot of problem getting him to stay on the bat, getting the hands to stay on the grips in the Bat cycle. Barry, have you ever run into this with like a land speeder or something like that? That like you get him in the position and he just pops off.
It's with smaller figures,
bend them down.
Yeah, they have a hard time getting
I got him
that crouch.
but he looks like he's in the right position. As soon as I let go, his wrists pop off, and I have to start over. So, okay. So then I got one other thing here, and this is not really a what's in the box. This is like what's left behind. So at school, the boys leave and they go home, and they leave a bunch of shit behind every year, and most of it's not all that interesting, and a lot of it gets thrown away or recycled or gone to Goodwill and stuff. But one of the things somebody brought me this year was this. And this, come on. You can do it. I probably waited too long. Hang on.
Volume muted.
Yeah, that's great.
Volume level 2.
Okay, thank you.
Volume level 4.
This is good podcasting.
Luke Skywalker.
It's never done any of these things.
Volume 5.
It's never done any of these things before. Hold on.
Volume level 6. Codex of light.
Is it a lightsaber?
Hold on.
Cyber terror.
Oh my god. Okay.
Oh my god.
So this is the most involved knockoff lightsaber you have ever seen in your entire life.
Looks like a park saber. Is it park?
7. Volume level.
Hold on.
Volume
That sounds like
level
Alexa.
I like the
10.
voice.
Dark Ages.
There's no.
Hold on.
Just on-off button.
I'm holding the on-off button. I am.
No
So
wonder the kid left it behind.
It's got a sexy voice.
So I think I'm going to keep trying this, Dave. You get to your thing. So this lightsaber, I'm saying lightsaber. Please do something, please.
Is it voice activated?
Volume muted.
I don't know what he's got.
Volume level 4.
Okay, all I can do now is adjust the volume level. Okay, that's interesting. It's green, blue, white, purple, yellow. Okay, it cycles through all the different colors based on how long you hold the button down,
Oh, really?
and rainbow.
And the kid left it at school?
And
He
the
didn't want
kid
to bring it
left this
home?
in school. He left this and a broken one at school.
Is it metal?
It's metal and with a.
Champion.
Oh, Jesus, just stop.
Volume
please.
level 5.
I have no idea why it's
I could see
stuck on this, but
he abandoned it.
it's
Does it have a name on it? I'm
nope.
curious.
It's got some weird symbol in the bottom. I played with this thing for a half an hour today. It never made a sound, and
The Dark Lord revisited.
it never made a sound. But it
The Learner.
okay.
It say banana? I don't even get what all that dialogue is about.
I think there's different. So, anyways, but this one lightsaber does red, all those colors. It does the flickering red. It basically does every possible lightsaber color and mode that you can imagine, plus rainbow.
And how's the light up? Like, does it light up brightly?
It's really good. It's right now. It just wants to talk to me.
Whispers of power.
I don't want to know what
You may be in.
Volume level 7.
Okay, well, we believe you.
Dave, why don't you go ahead?
I can't follow that.
It sounded like
The dark side.
Kylo.
Volume level 8.
People keep telling me they know me. I'm afraid
Ray?
no one does.
I don't even understand that.
Yeah. So very, very weird, but it's amazing how much they crammed into this one lightsaber.
Hey, bring that to Rhode Island Comic Con this year. We'll have fun
We're
with it.
gonna have a good time with this thing.
Oh my god. I'm curious what that symbol is. I'm trying to look
It's
it
a
up.
sigil
'cause
from Evil, Todd, at the bottom.
I have a feeling that's expensive. You know?
Don't do it. I have the high ground.
So,
Volume level
Yeah, I bet you that's a $500 lightsaber.
and again, I
yeah.
played with this thing today. All I did was cycle through the colors. It never made a sound.
And now it won't light up.
I thought I had it queued up to do the rainbow color, because that's pretty fabulous. And
Oh my god. That's crazy how much. I'm telling you, that thing's expensive. You got to find the name.
yeah, I
on it.
will. I'll open it up.
I'm curious.
Volume level 10.
Okay.
Okay. Anyway,
go ahead,
mine's
yeah.
nowhere near as exciting as any of that. Mark was in Disney World this past week, and he got me a Trader Sam's Hawaiian
that.
shirt.
Very nice.
It's got all the different drink mugs on it, and it's got a little Trader Sam's little thing on the arm. So I don't really wear Hawaiian shirts, but I'm like, I'll wear a Trader Sam's Hawaiian shirt. So that's my what's in the box.
I've become more powerful than any Jedi.
Just in time for summer. Okay.
Volume level 7.
That's
still
playing. We're
trying.
going to let Todd just do his
He's
thing.
still trying.
Volume
Figuring that out.
level.
Todd, just do me a favor. Hold up the pummel part of it. I want to see it. Because I think I might have just found it.
I've been looking for the...
Xenopixel, $549.
Is it really?
Oh, wait. That's the... Oh, this is if you get multiples together. It looks like it's about $179 if I'm looking at the right one.
What brand?
Level.
Xenopixel. Oh, no. Sabermaster.
There's so many people who make these lightsabers.
Why-
Anyway,
like I said,
we're
why
going
all of a sudden does it
to investigate
sound-
this.
It just makes it so weird. And again, no. Now it's all about the sound and no.
Volume level
no lights.
4. Volume
Okay.
level 5.
We'll figure this out. We'll report next episode what we found about this.
Todd, does it have
Did
a
you
USB
last-
charging port just above the button?
Yes. Yeah.
All right, yeah, it's the... Yeah, that's the one that's one of the ones I'm looking at.
Instructions for me.
Powering on.
Yeah. Anyway.
Anyway.
Oh, finally.
Oh, it's on. It's finally on.
That only took 20 minutes.
Yeah. Now watch this though. Nope. Hold on.
God, sorry, everybody.
Different color. This is blue now.
It's super bright.
It is
at least
very
on the
bright.
Camera.
Wait for it.
300 years ago, I found your empire in the stars and stood against the Emperor himself.
God, you've got
This-
multiple things playing at the same
Purple now.
time.
Purple.
Paid the price as the Emperor ravaged my mind for centuries.
What the hell? Why do they even have that dialogue in there?
I am the dark side can't be resisted.
Blaster fire? It's impressive, but I want to wind this show down now. Sorry.
Yeah, we can do that.
All right. Sorry, everybody. And thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening.